we're going to take it easy on you today, I think, albeit that you do actually have your presentation this week, right?
I do. I've realised that now, and I've organised to go out drinking with my friends on a Wednesday.
Oh.
I'm like, oh
Choices.
man, I was like, man, that's a bad idea. But hey, you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound.
Well, I hope, just make sure you take plenty of fresh mints along on to breakfast on Thursday morning then,
Plenty of water.
and keep drinking plenty of water. Um, well, it's fair to say, Ben, your weekend was probably the most extreme of everybody else's. Was relatively low key. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably, although I'm not sure that, depending on how you compare level of percentages of alcohol drunk compared to weekend fun had, I don't know that the percentages are that extreme. Anyway. Right, so I did update this. I haven't sent it out. We've got no guest speakers. I do need to we'll have a chat around who we should and maybe consider for guest speakers. Probably enough into next month. We'll make a more of a renewed effort. The main thing to say around, particularly last week, thanks so much for everybody for doing and getting through with our new scheduler with Pablo. So well done, everybody, on being very agile and making that happen. Has everybody made a start and been able to schedule this week with Pablo? Is that all? Or any issues? Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but way to go. Yeah, Adrian and I were talking about this morning as well, just in terms of really pleased that we're able to sort of do that in such a short amount of time. It's awesome. I think, given, as I said, I don't know, Adrian, do we know if anybody's turn going through this is? We didn't speak about this, and maybe because it is Ben's week this week, we won't let him do it, and maybe I'll just do it for another week. And Ben and I are going to talk about his presentation later in the week, I think, so that he's already got an idea of how he's going to do it, but we'll straighten it up. So we'll acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Kulin Nation. We offer our respects to the owners of these traditional lands, and through them to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, past and present. And then we know the agenda. Ben and I are actually having a chat because he's going to focus more on return on investment this time with his presentation. In terms of these next two slides, what's the one you could skip over? And maybe skip over is maybe the thing to consider. Maybe others aren't too as concerned about our mission and purpose as what we are. But what you could do is just let them know that we're a have fun, do good organisation, and that we do have impact beyond ourselves, right? So certainly in my last presentation, I skipped over it pretty quick because this one really talks about what we're aiming to do with our clients, which is to attract and retain more customers and to give them competitive advantage, particularly given that we know many and most other small businesses aren't using a social media marketing and Facebook ad strategy. Again, in terms of just letting people know that all our pricing is listed on the website and kept up to date. One of the things, again, while it's top of my mind, having spoken with Adrian, we've got a meeting today with one of the representatives from Pablo tonight, sort of about 5:30. What we'll ask her is around the stated benefit of being on a paid plan. And then what we might do, because of what's happened with Hootsuite, we don't want to find ourselves down the path all of a sudden having to swap out of Pablo, because Pablo also turns down or changes arrangements to free, right? So this time what we would do maybe is just sort of really be sure what the benefit of the $10 and the $20 plans are. And potentially what we do is that we build into our pricing in future that, let's say the $20 plan is what we should be on, we think. We build that in and we perhaps offer that to our existing clients. We basically say, look, at the moment, it seems that the free platform is fine. However, we're mindful that we don't want to have another Hootsuite, and so you may wish to think about, and also there's going to be benefits, right, in terms of analytics and other things as well that we believe there's going to be benefits to. The reason I'm saying that is because if we were to do that, then I'd clearly update pricing on the website and make that clear. We all know this. Again, skipping through, this part is clearly the main thing that we're always tend to focus on, and more I'm starting to find myself saying, what a digital marketer is not a Diffy social media marketer, right? Because we talk about the fact that we use marketing strategy and our marketing understanding to do social media marketing management communications, right? Which fits as part of digital marketing communications. Um, but I think I'm going to start to try and get more and more clear around that. And I think I've had a few conversations with you all in our one-to-ones last week around what we can't do from digital marketing perspective, which we're hoping to sort of rectify with the reach local relationship around that capture and conversion. And so I had a discussion last week with out there branding, and we were talking about that in terms of most of our clients understand that we aren't going to generate that capture and conversion. However, where they want to get that, then we at least can be either referring others or working with others to actually make sure that that's something they can do by extension with us. I haven't updated this, Ben, so this was actually from the previous month. If you want me, I can update these slides for your ROI side of things. The main thing that to identify is that we know that ROI is what we get for ourselves and for our clients, but we also know that the pixel flares marry up really closely with the Google Analytics, right? So that we know that Facebook Pixel now is accurate enough that what it's telling us is probably what their Google Analytics would be telling them as well if they were reading that. I know, Emily, you've sort of had a little bit to do with Google Analytics in the past.
Sorry, yes, I have.
Yeah. But yeah, so just understanding why that's a good thing for us, right? So it just means that if people sort of say, well, I'm not sure it's working, there's an element of, well, hang on, well, why might that be? You know, because we know that a lot of people are going to the website. So maybe there's some things we need to consider, or you need to consider around the website side of things and calls to action. Anyway, and Ben will look at our local stuff. I didn't talk about this last week too much, but anybody, I mean, with your reports, anybody, well, firstly, any concerns with any of your reports?
No.
Everybody pretty happy? It seems to me that everybody, all of our clients, particularly around the Facebook and Instagram insights, are all, performing really strongly, which is exciting. So, cool. All right. So, Ben, that's an in-person, with your presentations now at your one, Ben, have they always been, and are you presenting just by yourself? Yeah, so that you don't have a second presenter that comes on after you on Thursday? No. That's good. Awesome. Do you know if you got people coming along, any additional visitors?
I have invited my friend along who is a videographer, and he is doing me a solid and taking some stills and going to be recording the presentation.
Cool. Yep. So yeah, it's always, particularly when you're presenting, I always make a big, that's your best opportunity getting visitors along, right? So if you get a chance, even if you did do, we've done them in before. I always do the LinkedIn event because I think that's the best way, and you can do it on Diffy Social, right? You can invite people along on the LinkedIn, any of your network, if you want to invite them along. Or it can never do any harm that they know whether they come along or not, right? So it just helps present you in that light, right, that you're presenting. So, yeah, but feel free. Everybody's got access. Everybody's got access to the LinkedIn to be able to create an event on our LinkedIn company now, right? Yeah, sweet.
Yep.
So if you want to do that, please feel free to do that. And as I said, it's pretty straightforward now in terms of getting that out. Just as far as, so for me, I went to two chapters last week. I'm probably fairly close to deciding I'll probably go to my local chapter because it's in my local council. There's a couple of people that I work with that are in that chapter. It sits pretty closely to say I would say almost a Ben and a Hannah type chapter in that, and which is funny because Ben and Hannah's, I see Midas are now in orange or in amber, aren't they, Hannah? I think.
Yeah.
I saw, which is cool. And Ben, I think you guys are in green, and the Elevate chapter here it's in its first year, but it has got a bit more experience, which is good. So so I'm looking there and try and get the word back out in the west to Geelong.
What day does that chapter meet, Steve?
It's Wednesdays at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
So that's the other thing is, in terms of moving to a chapter that it doesn't clash with you guys, particularly ones that are still having the occasional Zoom meeting. And also, for me, it's just at a much more easy time if I have to go in person. Yeah, so they haven't moved to in person yet. They're going next month. It's taken them this long, so that's a long time. Anyway, cool. Anybody with their update? Any updates from anybody? Adrian, from your chapter?
No, not really. We're just trying to grow our chapter, so.
You're all in new. How's the new leadership in your different chapters? Maybe that's the other thing to say. Everybody's had their new leadership probably for a few weeks, or no? Adrian, maybe first.
No.
Yeah, well, I'm
1 week.
Yeah, I'm part of the new leadership. We had our leadership meeting last week, so we're putting a couple things in place to try and grow the chapter and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes.
And you're on leadership now, did you say, Adrian? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your role in leadership?
I think it's webmaster.
Oh, so that's just a new one
So
they
just
made up.
mainly the social media and stuff.
Yeah.
So web and social, yeah.
Yeah.
And Anthony, your leadership changed, I think, but you might have just been. Were you in start? You would have well and truly seen that, I think, change.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. The vice president stayed the same. He must like it.
Yeah.
The president went to the treasurer, and then we got a new president. So it's sort of like everyone stayed the same. Education coordinator stayed the same. He just handballs it off for every week.
Yep.
So,
okay. So everybody gets a chance.
Yep. And I'm a visitor host.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. How about you, Emily?
We change once a year, so it happened in October, and it won't happen again until October.
Yeah. So do you have a role at the moment?
No, because I joined it right after.
Yeah.
We had elections, yeah.
So more's the point, you kind of still have is it every second week marketing sphere one that you kind of still doing stuff, or is it every week, or no?
We have a different, it's called Go for Green, and it's just small breakout groups we
Yeah.
have every week. But that's not like marketing sphere, that's just it's like 3 other business owners or whatever, and we just meet and talk about stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Hannah, you're now doing education, is that right?
Yeah, I'm the education coordinator.
There you go. That's a pretty hefty title for someone that's
really.
actually in their first year. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
They
good.
said that from my talking, but I just as well I do it every second week, and then I give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I just change between so that people have a go.
Yeah.
And do you find yourself sort of going through mainly the basics? Is that what you try and cover off on? Or do you have has anybody told you, or do you have a sort of anything
what
that
I
you're working
educate
down?
on?
Yeah.
Oh no, just sort of pick. Like, I mean, I just tried to do something different. I will speak about social media ones. I have done one of those before, but yeah, I did one on a BNI success, and then like the most recent week I did on like general wellness for something different, like wellness, your life and running a business and stuff. So yeah, just try to change it up a little bit.
And so one of the things too,
But I get that all on the BNI, I think.
Yeah, and I think with I think the leadership should actually, when they have their leadership meetings, they will be saying they'll often should give you a little bit of guidance. I mean, you guys have been good in acquiring, so new ones, so new visitors. So, but often where chapters like Adrian was sort of talking, where they have to do something different, so often the education should sort of flow in with that, right? So if you're trying to get more visitors, if you
Yeah,
if your
yeah.
attendance, if you notice any knock in attendance, just to talk about the
Talk about
importance of
that.
attendance. But yet, generally, actually, the main thing is those 5 criteria on the side there, right? They generally become the basics, right? In terms
Yeah.
of do your chapter education, as in do your own stuff. Make sure you attend on time. Do 1-to-1s. Anyway, cool.
Mhm.
That's good. So and then Ben,
Mhm.
with your leadership, have they given you a designated role?
No.
No. So you can coast.
Yeah. Well, I did the education spot last week.
Oh, that's right. How'd you go?
Yeah. Fine. I mean, it was teaching old people how to tag on Facebook.
Tag on Facebook.
And I guarantee you none of them listened anyway, so.
The other thing is, particularly when it's in person, and particularly for someone who knows what it was like to go along and not be welcomed. So what I would suggest to you, be an unofficial member of the welcoming committee, maybe. And maybe that would be the same for you, Emily, as well, because
Yeah.
when you are new, often that's the first thing people will get given. So I would just class yourself as an unofficial welcomer. Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the fact that, again, there's all sorts of reasons why that makes sense, because you are new yourselves, right? And so often I've been to a lot of meetings where you're not new now, but often when people are in their first year, they'll often shine the spotlight on them a little bit to sort of say, well, hey, Ben, what was it that attracted you to our chapter and not another chapter that you went to, right? And then but by extension, that makes you good to speak to other people, around the benefits of the particular chapter that you're in, and the people, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. So has anybody been told or are doing the weekly events for their chapter in terms of a Facebook event? Adrian, you do, I think.
Yeah, I am.
That's
We
it?
don't have that.
You don't have that at the moment, right? So again, that's something that you could always potentially
Yeah.
offer up if you have the keys to the Facebook page, right?
Yeah, I've suggested to our marketing person, like, hey, would you like me to handle some of the Facebook posts? I can promote the weekly speaker.
Yeah.
We can have a look at maybe trying to get, our BNI potentially on LinkedIn. And it was all oh yeah, we'll have a look at it. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, in a way, that's not so bad. In that, at least it's not. Sometimes you go to certain chapters. I know out in in Melbourne, it becomes quite arduous the amount of work they'd want you to do almost. So you've got it the other way, where you don't want to have to try and convince them. But if they do say yes, we know that, as you said, that's exactly the way to go. Promote the weekly speaker and potentially do a post about how the event went each time. So awesome. We've talked about Pablo. I did speak to everybody, I think, last week, but with the main thing to realize is once you've got, and I think everybody, but just so you know, just go and double check in your Facebook integration that all of the pages that you're going to manage, so your client pages and any Diffy Social ones, that you've basically got them clicked. There's 6 levels, right? So there's 3 lots of Instagram and then 3 lots of Facebook page, and you just need to make sure that they're in there. I brought on Diffy Social so you just go into, I'll show you where that looks like on here, right? So it's actually going into your personal. So I'm not sure that Hannah and Emily, we got to speak, but I think you may have already done it. But just so you know, so
Right.
if you just want me to, I'll just step it through very quickly, right? So this took me about an hour and a half on Friday. I thought, oh yeah, I'll just quickly go and do it. I thought I'd just be ticking a couple. So me and Adrian, I don't know how we did it so quickly when you and I went in on that video that we did. But yeah, you go into your personal settings and privacy. Then go settings. And then if you scroll down, you'll see business integrations, right, on the left-hand side. And then in here, you've got view and edit for Publer. Oh, oh. Sorry, I double-clicked. And then, as I said, there's literally, so there's Instagram. So there's 3 lots of Instagram. So clearly, there's 3 different things that you can do with it. And then you've got your 3 lots of Facebook pages as well that you manage. So what you find is if you've got them already clicked in, then like I did today, I brought in the Dify Social brand on a Publer one, because I'd already clicked it on here. Then it brought it up in the same way it did with Google My Business. It actually shows all the pub pages, and you just need to click the actual page that the Publer that you're working on at the time. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yep.
So just maybe today or before, this week, just go and double check that these are already added, or that you've got everything clicked for your clients that you're managing within Publer. And then you'll find you'll get none of those issues. What was happening otherwise with me and Adrian, I think I was going in and then unclicking certain ones, and then I was clicking. But then I realized Adrian pointed out, right, that as long as we have them all clicked in here, then it's only about clicking the correct one when you actually go for Facebook and Instagram for the new account that you're adding, right? So clearly each time we add a new client now, we'll just be also adding it into here as well. Cool. Any questions about Publer other than that? All good?
Steve, when you get a chance, can you look at Tiz's? For some reason, I'm not able to authorize Facebook. I don't know what happened there.
Okay, yep. I'll do that, yep.
Yeah, so that's the problem that I had as well. So if you do what Steve just said, you should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, double check that, and then as you said, so I will have a look at it if you like, but maybe just double check that it's in there, or even we can spend 5 minutes and we'll just double check if you like, Em. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. All right. I was going to be talking about this this month, I think I said to you, but given what's happened, so I'm going to wait. What I will do this month is just talk to our clients around the fact that Facebook ads and the management, particularly with those clients that are kind of getting up there in the sort of $1,000 plus spend, which means we'll sort of charge 10% of that for an ads management. But I'll do that at the same time as probably just introducing. I don't think I'll do that this week. I think I'll wait till next week, because I'll let the Publer dust settle, because otherwise it might feel like there's a little bit too much going on with the client, right? So, but we'll just let that settle for now. I have talked to different. I think as we've been doing our one-to-ones, although last week, as I said, was a bit of a disrupted week, but I'll talk to you in the one-to-ones, if we haven't already, about who might be our priorities to consider with, Reach Local introduction, right? Cool. So I haven't really changed things too much from last week. If we could just, continue to follow up any opportunities that are coming your way, and you can either share something you're following up. It was report week last week, so if there's anything particularly around the report that was outstanding, it seems to me all of them are doing pretty well. The only thing to keep reminding people is around their LinkedIn, and it might be at times that you do a couple of the LinkedIn connections, particularly B&I type connections. That's what Adrian and I were talking about this morning. So if Adrian's inviting people to like a LinkedIn page that are part of the B&I connection, it tells people that Adrian's managing those people, which is good for Adrian, good for the LinkedIn company. So yeah, basically if you've got clients, Adrian's got a couple where it was just like, oh, they're not going to do that, right? So it's just being mindful that we will have certain clients that probably won't do it. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to share that. I haven't given this much thought yet, Adrian, but anyway, I don't know if you've given it much thought as to what you're going to share this week, but we'll kick it off now anyway. So good morning, everybody. My name's Steve Hubbard, and I am your social media marketer here in Footscray, Melbourne, where I've lived, worked and played for more than a decade. A good win and a follow-up win was actually to do with Lioncrest Education, which was an agency in Sydney that had spoken to me before Christmas, and it turns out it's his parents' business. So He's come back last week, and he's looking. It's basically an online bookshop, educational for schools and things. So that's pretty exciting. So I think I said to a number of you, I always like to think there's things happening. So I knew that was simmering away, and then often, if you're not hearing anything, it's just that sort of matter of just making a little note for yourself in High Rise just to follow it up to see how things are going with himself and his potential prospects. So that was probably my best win for the week. So this week, along those lines, anything online business, sort of your online businesses and Shopify type businesses. I'd love to work with businesses that are really trying to move things online. Again, my name's Steve Hubbard from Dify Social. Adrian.
Thanks, Steve. I am a marketing graduate from VU, and I'm your Dify social media marketer here in Footscray. So a follow-up for this week for me is I've got to follow up all my clients and let them know that I've got on to Publer, or to let them know there's still a few outstanding issues. So I'm going to be following that up this week. And I am currently looking to work with and for photographers, as I'm wanting to grow, sort of extend our BNI referral team. So looking to connect with photographers this week. Up next is Anthony.
Morning, everyone. I'm Anthony, and I'm a business marketing graduate from La Trobe University. I'm a Dify social media marketer here in Epping, where I've lived, worked, and played for the last 5 years. My wins for the week was having an awesome Thursday night with Steve and Adrian at the AMI event in Richmond. Had a few good wines, which was good. And my shit, what are we doing again?
You win. You better do. As much as it was fun meeting, I want you to tell us about Plenty Views Golf Restaurant and Bar.
Yeah. So yeah, I followed up. That's right. I followed up. I emailed Plenty Views. They were like a driving range bar restaurant, and I just said that I'm local and like down the road from them, and they got back to me within a couple of hours, and we are potentially doing a setup tomorrow if we get in contact. If I get in contact with him again, because I haven't heard from him yet. Otherwise, we might have to push it back a week or Thursday. And so, yeah, I would really like to work with him for maybe more bars in particular. Yeah. So up next is Emily.
That's pretty exciting. That was, I think you underplayed that. That was a very good win by you this week. That's an exceptional win. Let's hope it plays out, as you said, because that was an exceptional win, because it's outside of the BNI parameters.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good proactivity. Sorry, Emily. Anthony undersold himself. He's going to do a lot better selling himself at Wednesday morning's BNI.
So good morning, everyone. My win for the week would be I had a really good one-to-one on Tuesday with an HR. Like we have an HR company there. It's just a husband and wife team in my BNI, and she is definitely looking at rebranding. So she doesn't know if it's going to happen immediately, but she was interested in what we had to sell. My follow-up will be that I got a referral over the weekend. I don't think it'll be a great referral because it looks like she's an aspiring model, and I don't think that's really our vibe, but it was good to be considered, so I'll definitely reach out to her today. And the industry I wanted to work with, we're still looking for an insurance broker. Our insurance broker has left us at our chapter, so if anyone knows any, let me know. Thanks. Up next is Hannah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hannah, and I'm your Dify social media marketer here in Brisbane, where I've lived, worked, and played for 8 years. My win for the week, or client learning, maybe client learning support is originally when Awards Australia came on, there was sort of a little bit apprehensive, but they've just ended up being blown away with the results in the report. it said, there was 3,800 flares to their website, 1,000 engagement. Like, their numbers are amazing. So that's really great as well, especially since they probably weren't prepared for how good their results were going to be. So, and I'm currently following up interest from the dog grooming salon. She postponed. I contacted her last week, but she's hiring new people. So this week I'm supposed to be able to get onto her, whether that's even I go to the salon and see her there. And this week I would like to work with, I think my chapter really needs a web developer, since a lot of them don't even have good websites, and then that will help me get referrals. So this week I'm looking to connect to website developers. Up next is Ben.
Good morning, everyone. I am your marketing, advertising, and PR graduate from ECU. I'm your Dify Social Media marketer here in Wanneroo, Perth, where I've lived for the past 14 years. My wins for the week: client learning or BNI support. Well, there was the fact that I did the education spot. That was pretty good. And me and Steve went through the reports, and it seems that Denise's engagement on her advertising is also doing pretty well at this present moment in time. I am currently following up the lovely people at the Carpet Cleaning Association of WA, because yes, I need to send them another email, see if we can get a setup date in session, because it just hasn't been long enough. So this week I'd like to really work with and for not more associations, but I'm still going to stick with tradies who love to take photos of their work, because they make really great social media clients.
Awesome. Who are we
I don't
talking
think we
to?
normally clap.
As far as tradies, yeah, that's right. We all start clapping each other. That's good. I think you really should pump up at your BNI on Wednesday. That win you had, Anthony. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Because it just goes to show, if we come at it from the fact that we're just offering help, and as you said, and why you think that they went with you, because as soon as they get help from someone local, straight away there's the sense that they could trust you, you're local, why would we go past you? You know what I mean? So I think that's a really good thing, particularly in our space. I think a lot of people have that sense that we're going to dish it off to wherever, India, Philippines. The reality is we are local social media marketers, and you can really help. So it's great when you actually get it straight away. People have that feedback. It's like, oh, okay, good. And I think the other thing is just listening without doing taking away from Adrian's questions. But I really thought it was a really good point you made, Hannah, is that around the fact that I really want to get a web developer. I want an introduction to web developer because, hey, it's not just going to be good for our chapter. It's going to be good for me and our business, right? Because they tend to get what we do more than anybody else, right? Understanding that web developers are often our best referral partners in chapters, yeah? So I would tell the people, say, please, guys, help me out here. If you can refer me to a web developer that clearly we want to get them along as visitors to the chapter. But clearly also I'd love to have a chat with them because often we work really well together. So it's just by way of educating them that, and probably we could all do that and make a real play. So you were talking about photographers, Adrian, that same thing, in terms of, hey, I'm really keen to be introduced to photographers, not just because it's good for the chapter. It's good for the businesses that we work with, and it's good for our business, as it has been in. You can use the example of Good Gravy, right? So yeah, cool. And I'm just putting those couple of examples out. It doesn't mean that Emily and Ben, there wasn't things. So I don't want to be asked the question, but there's just those things that sort of strike me as that really it comes out that you can keep educating the chapter in what you're doing there too. Sweet. Adrian, who are you going to pick on?
Okay. Hannah, who is Emily following up with this week?
An insurance broker. Is that correct? Oh, is that who you want to?
That's who she's looking for.
You are following up with
You're close,
the
though.
model.
Yeah. I don't know about that. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, and let's go. Anthony, what was Ben's win for the week?
It was getting the education spot.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, you didn't even know yourself, Adrian.
No, I did. I've got a note here.
Wow.
Awesome.
And let's go, Ben. What was Anthony's win for the week?
That was the golf thing.
Yeah.
Golf thing. Yep.
Yeah. Following up with his local golf driving range.
That's it.
It's a local driving range and bar and everything. I can't remember the exact name of it though.
Plenty views. It's pretty exciting, actually. The websites, it's clearly they must have bought the restaurant and bar, cocktail bar. So it's good. We'll have Anthony's will be in charge of our lunch spot and our night spot.
Is it like a Top Golf?
Nah.
Okay.
It's you
That's
can
fine.
sort of say it is, but it's not.
It's a local Top.
Yeah. It's not that flash.
Okay.
It's just a classic driving range.
Right.
We're definitely going out there. 100 ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not as flash as Top Golf, I should say.
Is that where you were playing the other week? Remember you said that you were going to play golf?
Oh, no. I went to
It's not that one?
No, yeah. I went to actual course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The good thing around driving ranges is that you can't get as embarrassed as you can going around a golf course, right? So it doesn't really matter if you hook or cut, which is what all of my shots pretty much are. It's just like, well, hang, I'll have a go next time. You never know, you might get 1 out of 100. We're definitely going up there for a hit. All
Definitely.
right. Are we going to, who's doing our stretch?
That's Emily's job.
Okay. What we're gonna do is you're just gonna clasp your hands behind your back and force your shoulders down while looking up at the sky.
That means people can look up our nostrils.
And if you really want, you can grab the underneath of your chair. If you're flexible. All right.
That's a good one. I like that one.